Shalom, shalom. Kol halalim la abanawa Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak Wadash, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh Shai, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh Shai, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone, and shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,000 and greater multitude, which is the 1/3. Okay, and may peace and blessings be upon your households. Right? Those people that assume that the Bible is some kind of fairy tale book, they think that some man just put that together just to control the world. You're sadly mistaken. Right? Number one, yes, you got individuals out there that don't know the Bible. Well, actually, they know the Bible, and what they've done is handpicked certain verses in scriptures and changed the meanings of words and subtracted information from the scriptures, right? And given you a rendition of what they want to feed you. Hence the reason you got the Catholic doctrine, you got you got the wacky tacky Christians, okay? These Edomite loving Caesar Borgia, Jebus Christ loving wacky tacky Christians, where they say God is all love, God doesn't hate, right? Okay, come as you are, okay, which is basically Satanism. Like, do thou, what was that? Was that devil's name? Do thou wilt, whatever is. Do what thou wilt, or something like that. Alistair Crowley, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Something like that, he said. Do what thou wilt. Yeah, the book of the law. Do what thou wilt. Okay? Which is basically meaning do what you want. All right? Do what thou wilt, be the whole of the law. So basically do what you want. And that's wacky tacky modern Christianity, right? So we celebrate Christmas, which is pursuant to Jeremiah 10, I believe, where you're not supposed to celebrate it. You celebrate Halloween, you celebrate this made up Easter holiday, giving eggs and, rabbits don't lay eggs, by the way, right? Valentine's Day, all these crazy holidays that are not even in the scriptures. You're not supposed to celebrate them. So basically, you accept faggots, you accept PDF files, you accept your son becoming a woman, you accept your daughter becoming a man, you accept your daughter having a female as a so-called life partner. When that is not a life partner, that's a death partner, right? Same for your sons, all right? And that is Satanism. That is adverse to the scriptures. So what do you go to this the church for? All right? Exactly. You just go there for a song and a dance, and it's something to make you. It's a feel-good doctrine because you want to hear smooth words. You don't want to hear what is in the scriptures. You don't want to hear what the men of Yahweh Bashim Yashai have got to say. The men of Great Millstone, and likewise camps that give double honors to the apostles and elders, because they are the men of the Lord and they are the mouthpiece of Yahweh Bashim Yashai. All right. They speak the truth. They give you the transparency of the scriptures. All right, what Yahweh Bashim Yashai deems as what you need to do, especially because for the Israelites, what is the infrastructure spiritually for the Israelites, how to live, how to move, what to eat, what not to eat, how to behave around other people, how to behave, how to move circumspectly, all these moral laws, spiritual, moral laws, ceremonial laws, the spiritual aspect of the scriptures, right? So the Bible is a very real book, all right? Hence the reason why there is literal people that you've seen movies about within the scriptures. Like, for example, Alexander the Greek is mentioned in the scriptures. Okay, Egypt was an empire, hence the reason you see the pyramids. And we're in New Egypt again, hence the reason you see the pyramids on the dollar bill. Okay, it's a very real book. You can deny it as much as you want, but you denying it doesn't make it false. All right, you can bury your head in the sand, right? You can bury your head in the sand. The Bible is a very real book. And what I'm trying to get at is the prophecies, the earthquakes. And the most recent one is the Thailand earthquake, which is 7.7 magnitude, right? And 7.7, I know a lot of Jake have seen that number as well as 777. So it's a positive number for us, but a negative number for you clowns out there, because you're probably like affected by this earthquake. And even if Jake is out there, the elect is out there being affected by the earthquake, right? The elect are going to be covered, all right? They're going to be all right, okay? They're going to be covered, like that scene in. They're going to be covered. Example, I'll give you sort of like an example. You might be close to death, but you'll be covered. Example, like a movie, Apocalypse, the X-Men, the Apocalypse, yeah, X-Men Apocalypse, yeah. For example, when I forgot the character's name. If you look at the movie spiritually, it represents Yahweh Shai. Like, for example, when he's being transferred from one body to the next, and the process is not complete, and one of his followers or worshippers, a female with the spiritual power, as she was falling to her death, right? And as the dude who plays Apocalypse, whatever character's name is, the dude, the guy with the dark skin, the head guy who's tries to destroy Esau's world in the movie, right? As he's falling, the lady with the spiritual power covers him with a force field. So when the rocks are landing on him, he is protected. All right. Same way Yahweh Shemashah is going to protect his elect, right? And so the scriptures are very real, man. Very, very, very real. And we can see the prophecies come to pass because nation is rising against nation. Matthew 24, verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All right. What's the definition of diverse? Diverse definition. A lot of you use the term diversity, for that Momo lifestyle. It's not just nothing, just relating to that bullshit, right? Diverse, showing a great deal of variety, very different. Okay, and so the Lord is going to make it very, the Lord's going to send earthquakes to a variety of different places all over the world. Right? We now this time around, instead of America, the Lord hits the east, the Lord hits the west, the Lord hits the north, the Lord hits the south, and everything else in between. Okay, the Lord is a real drama king, man. He really hits them up. Forget Tupac, right? They say Tupac here in the UK. Tupac. So Matthew 24 verse 7: for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. All right, and we already seen, our elders and apostles and prophets out there making videos, man, of like Europe, the powers that be in Europe saying, get yourself supplies to last for 3 days, because certain things are going to kick off with regards to war, with regards to famine, with regards to, because it basically, because we're in a time where Esau's world is being plucked out. All right, so we got that aspect. Okay, the First World War was 1914 to 1918. The Second World War was 1938 to 1945. Now it's 2025. We are approaching the 250th year. All right, which will be next year. All right, and of America, 1776, right? And so something is, something it will, is more than likely going to happen. And we've come past the Passover. The Passover, was, a few weeks ago, right? So things are going to kick off because I believe the elders said that, like pursuant to history, when the a kingdom sort of hits its 250th mark, there is usually some devastating things that usually happen. Um, Something along those lines. But they did mention the 250th year, so something is, uh, you know, going to happen. Uh, so therefore, all these things, the war drums are brewing with World War III, right? A lot of people don't believe. They think that it's just made up. They think the word woe, WOE, doesn't equate to war. They don't understand about newspeak, right? They don't understand that. All right, let's just go to a couple of scriptures to show you how real the Bible is, man. Yeah, here we go. Revelation 9, verse 12. Right? One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. All right? Woe, the new word for, or the new speak for word woe is, let's get the definition of it. Let me not say it, let me show you. Definition of woe: great sorrow or distress. All right? Things that cause sorrow or distress, troubles. All right? Let's go here again. One sorrow or distress or troubles is past. Okay, World War One. And behold, there come two more sorrows or distress more hereafter. So we've already passed 1 and 2, right? So what's the other one they're talking about? Right? That's Revelation 11:14. Right? Revelation 11:14 KJV. Here we go. This is the final, you know, the final, not the final frontier. This is going to be as they say, the icing on the cake. Meaning that this is going to be where the World War III has already started, right? There's like little, scuffles here and there, but it's going to go to a point where it's literally going to be world war. Everyone's going to get involved. All right, everyone's going to get involved, and they've got some weaponry out there, boy. That's going to, make all the sci-fi movies and everything come to life, and they're going to pull out some technology. All right, because they know the elect are going to get that spiritual power. All right. Revelation 11:14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Right? So therefore, the Bible is very real. Okay? So for nation shall rise against nation. We already seen that scuffles and etc. etc. The war drums are brewing, or the war drums are drumming, however you want to say it. Okay? Like, in the ancient times when they were about to go to battle, there'd be like when you watch period movies, you hear the drums in the background, boom, 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 boom. That's what's happening right now. All right, we're not literally hearing it, but you can sort of picture it in your mind with all everything the way it's coming together. All the little jigsaw pieces are coming together, saying that, damn, and people out there know it's real, but they want to bury their head in the sand. They say, no, America's going to go on forever. America's going to bounce back. And, it's going to be like the 1980s again. And we're going to, go to the arcade and play games. And, we're going to go on holiday every year, every summer. I'm going to get a better job. And, I'm going to get a better home. People are being that nostalgic vibe, and Esau on purpose is putting all these nostalgic videos on YouTube. And people are just pining for the past, but they ain't going to come back. Ain't gonna come back, Esau. You've had your time in the sun, devil, and you heathens too. All right, this place is gonna be plucked up, man. The Lord is gonna pluck up that which is planted. All right, it's a time of war. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines. All right, prices are going through the roof. All right, pestilences. We already seen, bare diseases coming out. All right, there's so many different ones. All these different codes and numbers to it. Esau, hitting them labs up, man, is coming up with all different types of concoctions to give to you people out there. And all these pestilences and diseases. Look at the shit that we drink, the water. You can buy bottled water, right? We don't know what the hell's in that. That's where prayer is necessary. Pray without ceasing. You don't know what we listen. If we knew what Yahweh Shemashah is protecting us from, and if we knew what we were literally eating, even though it's lawful, like chicken or lamb or whatever, right? and how the lamb was deleted, and or the chicken was deleted, and these things and all that, where these vegetables and fruits come from, we probably wouldn't eat it. But that's where prayer comes in. Because when you pray over the food, the Lord, spiritually does things, man, where the Lord puts a spirit on you where your body can sustain the nutrients out of it and you can live, and pulls out the poisons out of it spiritually. I don't know. That's what my mind thinks sometimes, The Lord is just like got an angel around you, and the angel is like doing something to your body, covering you, and also at the same time pulling out toxins out of the food so you can get some kind of nourishment where you can somewhat, get through the day, right? So there's famines out there. The food is crazy. Okay, people are bitching and moaning about what they're going to eat, what not. You know what I mean? There's all these food banks everywhere offering, tin food or whatever to people that can't afford it. All right, all right. We already saw like loads of videos where people were actually shoving, instead of like back in the day, 30 years ago, would have been cologne or some kind of something you could sell in the street. I don't know, like back in the day, Walkmans or CD players and shit. They were shoved down their pants to steal and sell. Now, most recently we've been seeing steaks, chicken, all kind of expensive meats, right? That people are stealing because people are hungry. Okay, so the war, the famines, the pestilences, diseases. Now, right? We've got the earthquakes. All right. All right. I was just checking out how many earthquakes per day. So the Bible is very real. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's on you. It don't mean nada to me. I know the Bible is real. We know Yahweh Bashim Yashai is very, very, very real. All right. So on average, there are 50. What your belief is not going to take away from what's going to happen. All right. You can bury your head in the sand. You can listen to Esau, okay, because the Esau's going to say, they're going to say, oh, everything's cool, everything's pucker, there ain't going to be no trouble, right? You know, they're going to say it's peace and safety, but then the sudden destruction is going to come upon you like a woman in travail, man. On average, paraphrasing the scripture there, on average, there are about 55 earthquakes worldwide per day, with most being too small to cause damage, but some can cause significant damage. All right, 55 earthquakes. We've seen 7 there, now we see 55. All right. Okay, magnitude. Magnitude 2 and smaller earthquakes occur several hundred times a day worldwide. Major earthquakes, 7 or higher, happen more than once a month. Great earthquakes, 8 or higher, occur about once a year. All right. Over 80% of large earthquakes occur around the edges of the Pacific Ocean, an area known as the Ring of Fire. All right, here we go. It says here, The Guardian says more than 140 reported killed in Myanmar, which is in Thailand. Okay, as Thailand works for free. What? Myanmar, earthquake live. Brit tourist makes scariest admission as death toll rise. Daily Mail says thousands are feared dead after a huge earthquake hits Thailand and Myanmar. London Evening Standard, desperate search for survivors after a Thailand and Myanmar earthquake. Hopefully a whole bunch of Edomites, these expats, They call everybody else immigrants, but they call themselves expats or expatriates or whatever, right? Move to other parts of the world and still be racist and shit. I hope they got, damn devil got. I hope they got and got it deleted painfully. I'm going to mince words, man. I hate them devils, man. Let's see what they're saying. I know the heathens too. Myanmar earthquake kills more than 1,000. Oh, damn it! Myanmar earthquake kills more than 1,000 as rescuers race to find survivors. All right. More than 1,000 people have now been confirmed dead, with another 2,376 injured and 30 still missing. They count, man. They're intricate with their count, right? Sometimes makes you wonder how did they come up with a figure so quick, like 2,330, 2,376. Esau literally counting everybody. They've got to count. They do that poll, don't they? The death toll from a powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Myanmar jumped to more than 1,000, jumped to more than 1,000 on Saturday as more bodies were pulled from the rubble of the scores of buildings that collapsed when it struck near the country's second largest city. Oh man, second largest city, huh? The country's military led government said in a statement that 1,002 people have now been confirmed DEAD, with another 2,376 injured and 30 still missing. The statement warned the numbers could continue to rise, adding detailed figures are still being collected. Cool. The earthquake struck on Friday afternoon. You know, even if Esau's got the using his harp machine to do these things, it's all of Yahweh Hashem Yashai. You know, and the fact that these things always happen on a Friday. You know, interesting. You know, they like to test this stuff out on the weekend, not midweek. I don't know. That's just me thinking. You know, because have you noticed a lot of these things happen on the weekend as well? You know, everything. You know, hey, listen, Isaiah 45 verse 7. The Lord Yahweh Hashem Yashai controls everything. The minds of people. All right. All right. Man's goings are of the Lord. Then how can a man understand his own ways? All right. Paraphrasing scriptures there. The earthquake struck on Friday afternoon with an epicenter not far from Mandalay, followed by several aftershocks, including one measuring a strong 6.4 magnitude. The tremors sent buildings toppling, buckled roads, caused bridges to collapse, and burst a dam. Like that movie 2012, you know, with John Cusack, which came out in 2009, I believe. Sort of like a little version of that. In neighboring Thailand, the quake was felt across the greater Bangkok area, home to around 17 million people, and other parts of the country. All right. Let's play a little bit of what the hell is this? Ooh. That reminds you of 9/11, right? You saw the footage. Actually, I'll take it back. 9/11, yeah. It doesn't always happen on Friday. 9/11 happened on Tuesday, right? Yeah. So yeah, these things don't always happen on Friday. I guess when Easter's doing some kind of test already on Friday, especially when it comes to when they want to do a little test, you know. So they want to do a little bit of deleting they do on a Friday. If they don't do a major delete, they'll get midweek. When people are there, working and all that kind of stuff. Friday afternoon, especially nowadays, a lot of people work from home or whatever, or they finish early, or some people will be there, some people won't be. I don't know. Just thinking about it. ถล่มเลยเจ๊หมดยิงฟันแขน Everything's of your how that's in outside. คนที่อยู่ตรงนั้นมีใครเป็นอะไรหรือเปล่ามีใครเป็นอะไรบ้างไม่รู้ตึกเลยไปค่ะฝุ่นค่ะรีบวิ่งค่ะถล่มตานะไปค่ะพี่วิ่งค่ะมันฝุ่นค่ะ
An earthquake with a magnitude of 7.7 has shaken the Thai capital Bangkok. A 7.4 magnitude quake was reported in neighboring Myanmar. There were initially no reports of damage or casualties in the Southeast Asian countries. In Bangkok, the earth shook for several minutes.
Okay, he's talking about damage and casualties, but then, all right, I guess some news reports come at different times and they get what they get at specific times. As you can see, a lot of different, the Daily Mail, the Guardian, etc., the Evening Standard or whatever, different companies that report on the news, get, because news changes like the stock exchange, like the value of currency from second to second. So whatever this guy is saying, uh, is slightly different to you know what has been stated by various newspapers. Let's see what he says again.
Reports of damage or casualties in the Southeast Asian country. There were initially no reports of damage or casualties in the Southeast.
No reports of damage. What the hell is that then? Who's narrating this? Or casualties?
No reports of damage or casualties in the Southeast Asian countries. In Bangkok, the earth shook for several minutes. Videos on social media show buildings collapsing. Thousands of people were on the move in the city center. Emergency services instructed them to move to the open air.
No shit, Sherlock. Move to the open air. Move away. Luke 21:11. And earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. Okay? And there's another added part compared to, because, the Spirit, carries on with each prophet. And hence the reason why they say the same things, because they're all one body. You understand? Hence the reason why it's repeated, And earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights. This is a fearful sight. And great signs shall there be in heaven. And great signs shall there be from heaven. I've got to calm down on the coffee, man. I start reading too fast. And great signs shall there be from heaven, right? As you can see, a lot of people are bugging out. They see the chariots, they see orbs, they see beautiful things that are amazing, beautiful sights to us. It could be like a bright electric blue orb, beautiful blue color, man. Just, it could be, in the sky. It could be, it could be on your ceiling, an orb just floating around, man. It could be just a beautiful electric blue one, or a white one. It's a beautiful sight for us. It's like a source of comfort. You don't get scared, but the people out there, man, they keep equating all these things to Independence Day, green lizard. You people are going to pay for that, by the way. And Will Smith, you're going to pay for that as well. You know what you did, okay, by pulling out what was supposedly an angel that looked like a reptile, and by punching him and punching the carrot, punching the what supposedly. Well, and listen, in those chariots are angels, okay. In reality, not no fucking reptile that you punched and knocked out. All right, and you Edomites, you Amalekites, you small hatters are gonna pay for portraying the individuals that are in these chariots, okay, with big heads and look like fucking ET, look like Oprah on crack and shit. You're gonna pay for that. All right. Ultimately, they make ET. ET looks like one of their demons. That image that they have, like of an alien, that big head with the eyes and all that. That's like a demon that they pray to. I believe, yeah, that's a demon, and they use that image, and they make like versions of so-called aliens that look like that, but those are actual demons. All right. Luke 21:11. And earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. Great for the elect, and scary for, the people out there that don't know. They don't know what time it is. They're not. The Lord hasn't worked on their mind to let them know. Okay, because every member of the hopeful elect has got various levels of spirit, but they have understanding. Everything comes together. They have comfort from the scriptures, man. All right, it is scary, but then at the same time, we know Yahweh Shemashai is putting us through small little things here and there in our life, and sometimes big things, and we think to ourselves, shit, how am I going to get out of this? And then lo and behold, Yahweh Shemashai pulls you out of the mud, man. That like you could be like feel that you're in quicksand, or like whatever, like some kind of like you see in those movies, people get stuck in quicksand, and somebody tries to chuck them a branch or a partial piece of a strong bit of tree or whatever, or a piece of wood to try and pull them out. Try and basically throw them a lifeline. Our lifeline is the How Bashim Hashai, man. We don't put, yeah, and that term, You don't put all your eggs in one basket. We put all our eggs in one basket. That's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. Okay? Because the Lord controls it all. All right? Controls it all. All right? And if people are dead, that's because the Lord wanted it. Okay? And the Lord is not all loving, man. All right? Two more scriptures. I kill and I make alive. King James Version. One more. Whoever perisheth being innocent. King James Version. Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. All right? There's only Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right? I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. That movie Final Destination, I think there's 6 parts to it. Esau with his 6. Anyway, you see, they're trying to get away from, oh, I'm not going to go on that roller coaster because that roller coaster is going to collapse, or whatever's going to happen. The screw's going to come out, and I'm going to land on my head, and then the rest of the the roller coaster cars are going to fall on top of me, whatever you call them, right? Or I'm not going to get on that Ferris wheel, or if I do, it's going to topple over, And they're trying not, they get all these little visions and dreams or whatever, but then they try and escape death, but that death angel follows them and follows them and follows them. All right. Ultimately, the movie lets you know that you can't escape. Okay, and that brings that Deuteronomy 32 and 39 to life proper. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. You can't get away from, when that time comes, when Yahweh Bashim Machar is going to have your ticket punched, you can't get away from it. All right? Okay? So the Lord does it. The Lord is not all love. God is not all love. All right? The Lord is about you. Didn't the Lord give you the thought process? All right? I'm speaking to my people, the Israelites, especially the hopeful elect. All right, but the humans in general also. Didn't the Lord give you well, let's leave the heathens out of this right now, because they're on a different spiritual vibration, because the Lord made them that way. But for Jake, didn't the Lord give you a spirit of anger sometimes, spirit of happiness, spirit of love, spirit of hate? Didn't King David say, I hate them that hate thee, O Lord? Paraphrasing scripture there. I hate them, with the didn't the Lord say that? Didn't the Lord put those words in King David's mouth, with that spirit on him? I hate them that hate thee. Right? Paraphrasing a scripture there. Right? The Lord is all loving too. Yeah, not all loving. The Lord is loving too. The Lord has the same emotions as we do. Aren't the Israelites, the elect, the Lord's bride? All right. We turned our back on the Lord. All right. And the Lord, being our husband spiritually, right? The way, look, listen, you as a man, your woman cheats on you, right? You walk into the house and you find, someone plowing her, right? And she's screaming and moaning. Someone's just hammering away. How's that going to make you feel? You want to kill the bitch. All right. I'm just saying a scenario, okay? I don't really mean it. You see movies all the time about, because it's jealousy, isn't it? And the Lord is a jealous power, right? We're the Lord's woman spiritually. We betrayed our Lord. How whatever we did in our past lives, we betrayed the Lord. Not betrayed. We turned our back on the Lord in terms of following heathenistic customs. Then the Lord punished us. All right. But then the Lord God, His only begotten Son, His Majesty Yahweh Shai. Okay, the Most High Power Yahweh, God Yahweh Shai, His Majesty. Right. His supreme Majesty Yahweh, God, His Majesty Yahweh Shai, His only begotten Son, to be a sacrificial lamb, to go through what He went through. Because it pleased the Lord when Yahweh Shai was bruised, man. All right. So the Lord is not all loving, man. The Lord deletes when He wants to delete. All right. So the Bible is very real. That God you pray to, man, we don't know who you pray to. All right? Bury your head in the sand. You're going to see the Lord return soon. Job 4 and 7. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished, being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Whoever perishes being innocent, you know? People being deleted that way, you know? People being, run over by cars, you know? Um, someone being stillborn, all right? You don't know what you're paying for from your past life. You just don't know. That carries on. You don't get away with nothing. There is none of that YOLO bullshit. You only live once. Nah, you live many times. You just don't remember what you did in the past. Hence the reason why people come born. Some are born with two heads. Some people come with three legs. Some people are born with no legs and no, like where they're walking around on their hands, and you think, where the fuck are their genitals at? You know, how does one take care of that? The number, you see some people, right? They all swole arms and shit, and they're walking around on the floor like a damn demon, and they got no like legs, no limbs. You think, damn, you know. You see conjoined twins, you know, and then they're in pain all their life, and then they die at an early age, you know. And then some people like where the Lord is put in situations where buildings fall on them, you know. So we don't know, man, why the Lord does it. The Lord has everyone's. Esau wants to be like the Lord. That Esau, the so-called white man, likes to keep records, meticulous records of everything that they do, who's who, who's what they're doing. You think his mad? You think the Most High Power, Yahweh Bashim Yashai, hasn't got records of everybody on the planet Earth, including us Israelites? All right, that's why every Jake's got their own cross to bear, man. You know, some have it worse off than others. Some have it less. You know, some are blessed more than others in different areas. But everyone's got their own situations to deal with. All right. So and also at the same time, if the law wants to take you out a certain way, which is not an honorable death, right? The Lord takes you out. Okay. Okay. So ultimately, what I'm trying to say is the Bible is very real, and these things were always, in the scriptures from the get-go to let you know where we're at. The Bible is a roadmap, man, to let you know where we were at, where we're at now, and where we're going, especially for the Israelites. The gospel is a good news for Jake, all right? And things are only going to get worse, all right? It's going to be good for the Israelites because the gospel means good news for the Israelites. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and those of that lineage paternally. The rest of you heathens, you're fucked, all right? And rightfully so. Fuck you, I ain't going to mince my words. I hate you devils, man, you heathens. I hate you, all right? All right, I hate you 2/3 too, man. That was kiss up to Esau. All right. I went around all over the place, but sometimes you gotta like let these people know, man, that the Bible is very real, very real. All right. You devils are gonna pay for so many things. You're gonna pay for making the Lord look like a cracker too, and the prophets looking like crackers. And you made the supreme power, the Most High, look like a devil too. You know, give everybody leprosy. You're gonna pay for that, man. Anyway, all right. These earthquakes are gonna increase. Things are gonna get worse. All right. And for the elect, the hopeful elect, we got to go through the fire. We got to go through. we got to go through the straight gate. Meaning, we go through the straight gate to get to the other side. There's no other way. It's not going to be a smooth transition. It's going to be, as they say, a bumpy road. But if you want the kingdom, we got to go through it. There's no other way. All right. Like when you graze your knee as a child, and your mother put like a cleanse your knee and put a bandage on it. Then after 24 hours, you want to see if it's scabbed up, and it might hurt. Do you want your mother to rip it off slowly, or do you want your mother to rip it off fast? Exactly. So we want this done quicker, sooner rather than later. Otherwise, you don't want to be in limbo, So the things are only going to increase, and the Lord kills and the Lord makes alive. Okay, all right. Everything is of Yahweh Bashim Yashai. The Bible is very real. All right, and this is just, we've been seeing earthquakes for many months now, many years now, and it's only going to increase. The Lord is just cleaning house, and the Lord is going to get busy very, very, very soon in a real way. In a real way. Anyway, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Hashai, Bashem Rakakodash, Shalom.